channel, Side Hustle Seattle. So if you haven't seen Notary.Online, which is a platform that I've reviewed in the past, I've also interviewed like the founders in the past. They made a big announcement, and they made an announcement, maybe this was like 3 weeks ago. I'm late, I know. But anyways, they made an announcement, and in that announcement, they mentioned like a number of things. They talked about some changes to their platform, some things coming down the pipeline. But they also announced a partnership, and the partnership is the part that actually caught my eye. So as they're talking through it, they're essentially explaining, yeah, we're trying to get our platform up and running. We started doing some research on the technology, and what we realized, and I'll just go ahead and quote the article because it makes it easier. They say, what notaries, the Secretary of State, and the signing public regard as a RON platform is patented and intellectual property of one company. So they essentially go on to say that because the technology that we regard as, a RON platform is intellectual property of another company, instead of us just making our own platform knowingly being out of compliance, we're just going to partner with the company that owns that patent. And in this case, it's a company called Syngrafii. Now, I hadn't heard of them, or Syngrafii, however you pronounce it. I hadn't heard of them prior to this, but we'll get into them a little bit more. But my thing is, okay, so what we consider RON platform is patented technology. So does that mean that every other RON platform that's operating is illegally operating? I don't know. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I've been trying to figure out since I actually saw the announcement. And that's what I want to figure out with you, because I have yet to solve the mystery, and I am interested in hearing your opinions on it. Now, I will be the first one to say, I don't know anything about patents at all. I know the bare basics, all right? So that's why this is so hard for me to kind of piece together and solve the mystery. But I feel like the best place to start is just in the beginning, right? Let's start with the company that they actually partnered with, which is Syngrafii. And I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it because I saw it in a video. But anyways, what it is, and I am simplifying the heck out of what they do just for the sake of this video, it's essentially a cloud-based e-signature platform, right? Liken it to like a DocuSign or a PandaDoc or whatever, something in that nature. But when you actually go online and look through all the different things they have to offer, they already pretty much have their own RON solution. You know what I mean? They have something called Inked Seal, which essentially allows you to notarize a document electronically. So they already pretty much have that technology built and up and running, etc. And so when I was thinking about, okay, well, if you already have your own platform, why do you want to partner with another one? I guess it makes sense. Well, it really makes sense from Notary.Online standpoint, because one, what I'm thinking it's going to look like is it'll be essentially Notary.Online's platform powered by Syngrafii technology. So all they'll do is they'll take the technology they already have, build on it kind of in their vision, and kind of go from there. So it makes sense from them. One, they're in compliance. Two, they don't have to start ground up. And those are all great things. And because, Syngrafii's been around since early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, or like 2010s or whatever the case, they have a lot more, wealth of knowledge. They probably have a lot more resources. And so they can help them spin up their platform quickly. But for me, I feel like I kind of came out of the announcement with more questions than I had answers. You know what I mean? Because if you're telling me like, okay, so this person owns this platform, etc., and it's patented, and we're going to be the only platform operating, legally, I'm like, well, what does that really mean? Because there's hundreds of RON platforms. Like if you Google RON platforms, there's so many, both big and small platforms, right? Like there's the big ones we already know. There's small ones, so your mom and pop ones, so the ones people are spinning up in their basement. Like there's platforms everywhere. And so are all of them infringing on the patent, or only some of them infringing on the patent? Like what specific part of the patent itself is the part that's infringing? It's a whole deep thing, right? And so I tried to figure out what patents they have in the first place. Now I will reiterate, I don't know anything about patents, right? Like my understanding of it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am, is that essentially to have a patent is to have like exclusive rights to an invention, right? And that invention could be anything. It could be a product, it could be a process, it could be a way of doing anything, but you hold those exclusive rights for X amount of years. And in exchange, essentially, you have to tell people exactly what that invention is and what it does, and et cetera, et cetera. So that is what I know about patents. And in order for people to use anything that directly uses everything within your patent, I guess you can say, they have to have your permission, otherwise they're infringing. That's what my interpretation of it. I may be wrong. But anyways, I went ahead and I Googled which patents they actually had. So it does list some patents on their website, but it doesn't give you much information. So if you keep Googling, you'll actually find a site that'll list like 6 patents that they currently have that are active. And I'll put them on the screen because one thing I've learned in my brief patent research is that none of this is in layman's terms. Like, it's the most ambiguous, hard to read, hard to understand language I've ever seen. And so my thing is, if you were infringing, I don't blame you because I wouldn't have understood what they were trying to say in the first place. But after going through it, I kind of like, my interpretation of what they actually have as patented is, one, they have this like special way of collecting signatures. So, you know, most of the time when you're like signing an e-document, you can kind of type your signature and then you can select which signature looks closest to yours. They have essentially a way to do that, but a lot more, I guess, accurate, which is they send you the signature request to your phone, you sign your phone, and it makes it essentially as accurate as possible. So that's one way that they do it. Another patent that they have, which I guess is more of the Ron side, is one of the patents essentially says that it's when 2 parties are having some like audio-visual, you know, conversation that's then recorded that requires somebody's identity to be verified, and you know, part of that document's getting signed or something like that. Like, they have a patent around the way that is operated and owned or whatever the case may be. So maybe it's that part of it that is what we consider a RON platform, because I mean, that sounds like what a RON platform does, but that kind of sounds like what a lot of different types of platforms do. So I'm not 100% sure. But again, I have questions, right? Because my thing is, if all RON platforms, or if the majority of RON platforms are truly infringing on their patent, why haven't they been taken down or sued? And the thing is, I don't know, maybe they are being sued and I have no idea, right? Like, we've seen so many platforms recently shut down. Like, for all I know, you know, Syngrafii is getting heavy-handed and going after people and just like Grim Reaper left and right. I have no idea. That could be happening, but it seems like a new RON platform pops up every other day. So I'm like, if it's truly infringing, why are like platforms kind of running rampant? So I'm not 100% sure on that part. But I think the important thing is, like, if they are truly infringing, think about how much that changes the landscape of RON. Because if Syngrafii owns all of this and all of them are infringing, then, you know, that potentially means that platforms are getting shut down, or all the platform technology is getting maybe powered by Syngrafii, or they're getting a cut of it, or, you know, they're having a say of who, you know, who's really a player in the game and who's not. Like, there's a lot of things that can change from it if that's how it's actually going to play out. And again, I don't know how it's going to play out, but that's the question I want to ask you all. It's like, do you think this actually means something? If now that we know that the technology is actually patented, now that we know it belongs to, you know, one group, now that we know it belongs to one company, does this actually change anything, or does it not, right? Like I said, platforms are still around even though this technology is patented. So maybe, you know, they don't have the bandwidth to go after the majority of these platforms. Maybe bigger platforms like your Notarize, like, can eat the legal fees and they'll just move on their way and there won't be any issue with it at all. But I'm curious, like, it's hard for me to tell if this is a big thing or if it's negligible. But I think it's an important thing to talk about because it's something I for sure did not know was patented. But let me know your thoughts. I just want to make a quick video discussing that, seeing if you had seen it and seeing if you have any thoughts. But anyways, leave all of your thoughts and discussion topics in the comments, and I will catch you in the next video.